It's getting warm, so I don't need to make it any warmer. But welcome to the Stakeholders Conference on River Cruise Tourism. Secretary MOPS would be joining. He's engaged somewhere. He will be joining us shortly. But we will commence with our conference, and we'll welcome him when he comes. We'll have a short pause when he comes. But meanwhile, we will commence.
Now I'll request Member Traffic and Logistics Mr. Vinayak Azad to welcome our Chairman of IWAI, Shri Vijay Kumar ji. I request Mr. Vinayak Azad to welcome Director General Tourism, Madam Manisha Saxena ji. I request again Mr. Vinayak Azad to welcome our Joint Secretary, Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, Mr. R. Lakshman ji.
Thank you, Mr. Bansal. Just for introduction, I am Vinayak Azad. I am the member Traffic and Logistics in the Inland Waterways Authority. So, we're going to start the program with the welcome address by our chairman, Mr. Vijay Kumar. And may I please invite sir just to give the welcome address to this August gathering.
Thank you, Vinay, and a very, very good afternoon to everybody. It gives me immense pleasure to extend a heartfelt welcome to DG Tourism, Manisha, our Joint Secretary from the Ministry, representatives from various state governments and Ministry of Central Government, and the most critical partners, the entrepreneurs of the river cruise tourism sector who are present here. Coming straight to the topic, river cruise tourism has been a focus area of the government for quite some time, and tremendous progress has already been made in terms of number of voyages, cruise vessels plying, and number of tourists. Ganga Vilas, gentleman is here, by performing the world's longest river cruise journey, has already placed India on the world river cruise map. But there is still huge untapped potential given our rich heritage with plethora of pilgrimage points, touristic points, and historical sites along the rivers and waterways. Currently, we are operating river cruises on 9 national waterways, including IBP routes. As per a recent study conducted by IWAI, 34 national waterways with 38 routes have the potential for development of river cruise tourism, including all categories: luxury, overnight, budget, and day cruises. Therefore, the task ahead is clearly laid out: how to operationalize these remaining routes for river cruise tourism. As far as we are concerned, we are committed as IWAI to facilitate an ecosystem for growth of river cruise tourism in the country. We have already set up several dedicated river cruise terminals, floating pontoons, community jetties, and provided navigational aids such as buoys, beacon lights at various places. We also have digital platforms like RIS, our navigation systems, and signboards with QR codes at various places. I am very much aware that the first and foremost requirement that all of you seek from us is maintaining sufficient water in the waterways. Under the guidance of Secretary Shipping and the Ministry, we have taken that up in a very, very focused manner. And I am pleased to inform you that within a very short time, we are hopeful of having dredging contracts in place for the entire stretch of National Waterway 1 end to end on all of 1400 kilometers. Already, most of the contracts have been awarded, and we are in the process of finalizing the rest of them. For NW2, we signed an MOU with Dredging Corporation of India for year-round dredging. So again, that issue will be resolved wherever it persists. Some of the operators pointed out issues in Ayodhya. So for Saryu River also, we will start dredging activities very shortly. Already proposal has been approved, so it will begin. For remaining stretches, for example, certain points of Kerala will be visited in the backwaters, we are already adopting an outcome-based approach where we pursue dredging in a focused manner linked to a specific cargo movement or specific cruise movement. So hopefully, before the next lean season starts, we will be having all our dredging contracts in place. We will be able to ensure you that we have sufficient water in the waterways to allow your cruise movement. So at least movement will not be delayed or stalled because of lack of water availability. We are also separately going through the feasibility report and DPRs of all our 111 national waterways to examine what are the possibilities of cruise movement in each of them. For example, we are looking at some stretches of Yamuna in Delhi also, where there is a possibility of starting day cruises. So that is already a work in progress. Then we are also looking at a mechanism to collect authentic data for river cruise tourism, as currently we know there is huge, large-scale, massive underreporting. And we are keenly aware that river cruise tourism is a collaborative effort where the prime movers, the risk takers are our entrepreneurs, the river cruise operators sitting in the room, but a whole lot of agencies have to come together to make that voyage possible. So therefore, we are in continuous dialogue with the state governments, going all over the country, meeting all the stakeholders. Only within the last 10 days, I have met Odisha government officials, had a conference there. With the ministry, we had a conference in Cochin some time back, in Guwahati also, and we intend to do the same in Goa, in Mumbai, and other parts of the country. We already have MOUs with government of Assam, Bihar and UP for cruise tourism. More recently, we signed a tripartite MOU with the state governments of Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh for river cruise tourism, for river cruises from Statue of Oneness at Mandata in MP to Statue of Unity at Kevadia in Gujarat. So that operation we expect to start within next 1 year. The response from all the stakeholders has been very, very encouraging, and as is also evident from this room, which is full of all the stakeholders, all the agencies. I am very confident that with support from all of you and guidance from Secretary Shipping, we would be able to achieve the targets set for cruise tourism in our MIV 2030 and MIKB 2047. So to conclude, I look forward to a very, very productive discussion today, where we will highlight what we are doing in the cruise tourism sector. We will hear from DG Tourism, we will hear from all our stakeholders, and whatever specific issues are highlighted, all of us will work together in a collaborative effort to resolve them. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your guiding remarks. Now we'll play a short film which kind of showcases the work that we have done over the years on promoting river cruise tourism in India. Can we have the film, please, and dim the lights a little?
India is blessed with numerous rivers. The network of big and small rivers spread across the country has facilitated freight and passenger transportation since ages. It remained as one of the major transport mediums until the last century. In the 19th century, due to a lot of emphasis on rail and road transportation, waterway transport suffered a major setback. The Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, Government of India recognized the growing need for waterways transportation in the country and its unlimited potential, decided to revive the environment-friendly and cost-effective network of inland waterways across India. The Inland Waterways Authority of India was tasked with the responsibility of developing 111 waterways in the country and making them navigable. In the last 5 years, various waterways have been developed across the nation. The development of these waterways led to a significant increase in freight and passenger transportation. The advancement has led to the promotion of river cruise tourism in India. On 13th of January, the luxury river cruise vessel MV Ganga Vilas flagged off on a journey of 3,200 kilometers from the holy city of Varanasi to Dibrugarh, sailing through National Waterway 1 developed on the river Ganga, National Waterway 2 developed on the river Brahmaputra, and Indo-Bangladesh Protocol route. Cruises like the Ganga Vilas will play an important role in popularizing the tourist destinations located in the hinterland on these waterways on the world tourism map. River cruise tourism has been a tradition in the country for centuries, but it was limited to the high-income groups and the royal families. To promote river cruise tourism in India, several national waterway development projects have been undertaken in the last 5 years. Multimodal terminals, navigation channels, night navigation facility, dredging to ensure proper depth of water in the rivers for hassle-free movement of vessels, construction of tourist jetties and community jetties are the key components of waterways development. All this has brought about an unprecedented change in the waterway transport sector in the last few years. It is now seen as an easier, affordable, environment-friendly and safer mode of transportation. Due to its increasing popularity, many river cruise vessels have started operating on NW1, NW2 and NW3. And tourists from India and abroad are enjoying this new mode of tourism. The Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, Government of India, IWAI, has ordered 18 electric catamaran ferry vessels for the Mathura, Ayodhya, Varanasi and Guwahati sectors, which would give huge boost to the religious tourism in these sectors. The number of navigable waterways for river cruise vessel in the country is 9. Which is expected to become 34 by 2047. Similarly, the length of these waterways is expected to be 5,265 kilometers in 2047 from 2,096 kilometers at present. The number of river cruise terminals is also expected to grow from 94 to 185 by 2047. The night staying cruise tourism traffic is also expected to amplify from 5,000 to 1,20,000 by 2047. Not only this, river cruise tourism is offering new employment opportunities to the local residents as well as skilled professionals, thereby ensuring their participation in the growing economy of the country.
So that was a very short presentation, or a film rather, to showcase the work that has been done. River cruise tourism, as we all know, is in very nascent stage in our country, and we have a long way to go. I'll be giving you a short PPT which will showcase the work that my organization, IWAI, along with the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, has done in the last few years in this segment, and also the challenges that we face as well as the way forward. Can we load the presentation, please? This would be the agenda for the PPT. Just to give a brief outline of Inland Waterways Authority of India, this organization was formed in the year 1986. That time there was only one national waterway. It was in 1988 that the second national waterway was declared. The first one was Ganga, the second one was Brahmaputra, two of the largest rivers that we have. National Waterway 3 in Kerala was declared in 1993, and in the year 2008, National Waterways 4 and 5 on the east coast were declared as National Waterway. 2016, gentlemen, was a landmark year because the number of waterways reached 111 by inclusion of 106 national waterways. As per the section 14 of our act, we are mandated with the development and regulation of waterways which are declared as NWs. The total length in the country is about 20,000 kilometers. However, only about 14,500 is actually navigable at the moment. That includes 24 national waterways. The basic mandate or the key functions of IWAI, the first and foremost is the maintenance and development of fairways, because as Chairman Sir also mentioned that the first expectation is the maintenance of the draft. So we maintain the fairways. We also maintain some of the terminals and allied infrastructure on some of the riverine routes. We also provide navigational aid, including night navigational aid. We are also mandated to take technical studies, which include feasibility, navigational studies, cargo movement studies, and also DPRs for projects. that we may think have the potential to increase the riverine cargo. We also advise and assess states and the central government in the IWT sector. Also, we are the nodal agency for Inland Waterway Development Council. This is a council which has recently been formed, and all the states, all the riverine states are members of this. We had a very successful meeting in January in Calcutta, where some of the ministers and some very senior officers from the states also participated. We are also tasked with promotion of the IWT sector. What we are doing right now is part of that mandate. We advocate, we do public outreach, we do communication, we have stakeholders engagement, and we also build community jetties which support the livelihood of the local population living along the banks. We also have certain training institute. We have one at Patna called NINI, National Inland Navigation Institute. We have a Maritime Skill Development Center at Guwahati, and in Tripura, we are building a logistics, communication and waterways in Agartala. The IBP route, gentlemen, is the Indo-Bangladesh Protocol route. We also facilitate the movement of cargo and passengers on this route. And we Ganga Vilas actually travel through this route, starting from Varanasi all the way to Dibrugarh and traverse through various river systems, passed through Bangladesh, entered into India again. This is just a snapshot of the cargo movement. The focus traditionally for IWAI has been on the cargo movement. It has been of late that we have started developing or rather focusing on the movement of passengers and cruise tourism. Primarily this organization was looking after the movement of cargo. So this gives you a snapshot of the commodities that move and a commodity profile. As you can see, it is mainly the bulk commodities that move. The modal share is just 2%, whereas in countries like US or Netherlands, Germany, even our neighbors like Bangladesh, Vietnam, they are in the range of 15 to 20. In the European Union, they are almost close to 50% of their total cargo. The financial year target for 24-25 is 144 million ton. Now coming and more relevantly to the tourist movement, we started very small. As you can see, we have the data for the last 6 years, and as you can see on your screen, the numbers are gradually rising except the COVID period. That's where you see a slump. But then if you compare from 2018 to 19, you can see how we have progressed. The voyages and the numbers still seem very less compared to some of the other countries, but as we go along, we will see the challenges and where we are going from here. River cruise operation on national waterways. These are some of the stretches which are already operational. Many of you are already present here who are stakeholders in these, your vessel owners and operators. So National Waterway 1, Varanasi to Haldia stretch is operational. On Brahmaputra River, Guwahati to Nimati stretch. Entire stretch for passenger and ferry houseboat movement is available in National Waterway 3, which is the West Coast Canal in Kerala. NW4 Krishna River, passenger ferry movement is operational at intermittent locations. On NW8 and 9, again in Kerala, there are there is a OD pair which has been made Alappuzha to Changanesri, which is operational. NW97 is the Sundarban area. This is as different from the Indo-Bangladesh Protocol route, because this part which we are talking about, the National Waterway 97, is the Sundarban part of India. Then the IBP, the entire stretch, as I mentioned earlier, is operational. And National Waterway 68, which is in Goa, the entire stretch is operational. These are some of the cruise operations on National Waterway 1 with pictures of some of the vessels. What we have done in infrastructure development is construction of 62 community jetties under JMVP. JMVP is Jal Marg Vikas project. It's a World Bank funded project. And the community jetties have been a very popular mode of transportation for the local community, and not only transportation, they have become places where people gather and sell their wares, and they are also used for cross-bank crossings. We also have cruise terminals at Varanasi and other terminals which can also be used for cruise terminal. They are not exclusively cruise terminals at Patna, Sahibganj, Kalughat and Calcutta. On NW2, we have these vessel operators and cruise vessels which are mentioned in front of you. We have built 10 passenger terminals and 4 terminals through financial assistance from Ministry of Tourism in the Brahmaputra River. In 3 and 8, which is in Kerala, there are numerous houseboats which are operational. We sometimes don't get the entire data for the houseboat. So representative from Kerala, if they are present here, they can perhaps start providing the data, because the data that we have right now is of one particular vessel operator, Adventure Resort and Cruises. But we have 2 log gates which are under construction, and once they are operational, the movement from Kochi to Kollam will be possible once these 2 log gates are operational. On NW7, we have various tourist jetties already have been placed. These are some of the vessel operators and cruise vessels. Some of these vessels would operate in multiple river systems. So that's where we have the asterisks. IBP, again, the most famous, Mr. Raj Singh is present here. One of the vessels which put us on the world map of river cruise tourism, MV Ganga Vilas, flagged off by our Honorable Prime Minister in January last. The tourism actually on this route had begun in March 2019, and 14 voyages have been performed. Customs and immigration, since it involves 2 different countries, but we have SOPs in place with customs and immigrations. Now, these are some of the routes that have been identified for river cruise terminals, river cruise tourism. 7 we have identified as luxury river ferries, 13 as budget, and 18 as local. These are the details. So you can just look at your screen. These are the details, and maybe we can engage subsequently on each of these routes. These are for all the 3 segments, because right now the focus has been mainly on the high end, and most people cannot afford the kind of cruises, the rates that we have at present. They are on the higher side, so we are also targeting middle and lower middle segment as well. Now, some of the possible river cruise tourism areas are also there, which are not necessarily on the national waterways, on the rivers, but and these 3 pictures are not exclusive. I mean, there are other possibilities also. Some that come to our mind is one Loktak Lake in Manipur, Chilka Lake in Odisha, and Ranjit Sagar Dam in Jammu. So there is a possibility of cruise tourism on these large water bodies as well. Now, target and current status of river cruise tourism. We have KPIs, cruise growth in the inland waterways. As you can see, apart from the cruise tourism, it is also, we also have targets for employment, employment generations and investment, local cruise vessel related investment, cruise terminal infrastructure investment, and local cruise terminal infrastructure development. You can see how from 2020, from very modest figures, how we have very ambitious figures for the, this is part of the vision document which was released during the IWDC meeting, which I mentioned earlier. Targets and current status of river cruise tourism, again, part of the IWC vision document. Very ambitious targets. So whatever we are doing, this is also part of achieving these targets. As you can see, we are looking at 10, sometimes 100 times the existing numbers in the year 2047. Now, what do we do? Steps taken by IWAI in trying to achieve those targets. And first and foremost, maintaining fairway, providing navigational aid, construction of vessel berthing, facilities for multiple points along the waterways. We also place signs with QR code on various tourist locations, so when the tourists disembark, they can just scan those codes and it will give you all the information in the nearby tourist site. We are also planning additional routes and circuits, many of them by 2047. Expectations from stakeholders would be, you should reach out to state governments and other authorities for starting cruise movement on identified routes. As I showed in the slide, there are 34 national waterways in different states. And also highlight the key challenges and issues to us and to the ministry. Specialized skill development initiatives is also a task that should be initiated by the stakeholders. Apart from us as well, the stakeholders can also take these initiatives and also devise innovative programs like art and culture, culinary festivals on the river cruise. Now, expectations from the government authorities. This would be what we have done a study from the various stakeholders, and the expectations that we have outlined is they want to assist cruise operators to start movement on the identified route. CBIC and immigration should devise mechanism for smooth clearances. By and large, they are smooth, but sometimes there may be some irritants, but then nothing major so far. Encourage investment, provide single window clearance, fast track all grievances, vessel financing and subsidy. This is another very important area because vessels cost a lot of money and the break-even time is a long period. So subsidies and vessel financing is a very important area. Comprehensive river cruise policy, providing adequate security. You see two gentlemen in the uniform here. They are from the National Security Guard. This shows the seriousness that this whole sector has been looked upon. In case of a possible hostage situation and all, there has to be SOP. That's why the gentlemen are here. Resolving taxation issues, various GST or sometimes custom related issues have to be taken care of. Now, we have taken various initiatives including MOUs with the state government and cruise operators. So we have signed with the government of Assam, Bihar, UP, and also with various cruise operators for promoting river cruise tourism. The most recent one was just about a fortnight back, where a tripartite agreement was signed between the state of Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh for promoting a cruise from Statue of Unity in Gujarat to Statue of Oneness in Madhya Pradesh, in Mandata. Now the way forward, pretty obvious things, but we need to focus on them, synergize all stakeholders, both private and public, make a joint strategy, identification and development of infrastructure at untapped locations on all the 34 national waterways, construct basic terminal infrastructure like jetty, gangway, approach wherever they do not exist, provide adequate depth throughout the identified national waterways, make river cruise terminals into destinations themselves. Like in many of the European countries, the river cruise terminal itself is a destination. People come to just hang around at the cruise terminal itself. Associate with operators for various promotional activities at these destinations, cruise building infrastructure in line with international standards, and adopting international best practices, and also learn lessons from international river cruise. So thank you very much. These are our social handles. I would urge all of you to go through our website as well as like and share the various messages that we keep posting on a daily basis on these handles. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And now I would invite DG Tourism to present a PowerPoint presentation on the work, because we, as I mentioned, we have to work in synergy, and we partner with DG Tourism because river cruise tourism also involves movement on the rivers where we come in, and also tourist activity. So, Madam, may I invite you for your presentation?
Respected Vijay sir, and all colleagues and all the stakeholders from tourism and shipping. It is indeed really nice to see a room full of so many familiar faces, and it is a very topical subject today, because in the Ministry of Tourism also we have been working on this aspect of inland river cruises and river tourism along the course of rivers, and we've had some discussions with stakeholders in the industry. For the last 4 days in the ministry, some of you have been with us where we've had these discussions. In fact, today also there was the last group of secretaries of tourism from states, and otherwise also, the broad thought process is that instead of having smaller projects, the ministry should actually be investing in bigger destination-based projects in such destinations where new product offerings can come up. So I'll just start with a little bit of an introduction on the Ministry of Tourism. The role and the function of the Ministry of Tourism is on policy matters, planning and development, coordination, regulation, infrastructure and product development. And these two are separate because while a lot of hard infrastructure is already in place by the other line ministries, in this case Inland Waterways Authority of India and the Ministry of Shipping, product development for tourism involves a whole lot of stakeholders coming together to create experiences which are memorable, which are unique, and which capture the essence of the traditions and culture of those areas. Marketing and promotion of Indian tourism in domestic and international markets is our core function, which we do through our website, through participation in fairs, organizing fam trips, having road shows, and selling specific products in specific countries, international cooperation and external assistance, and recognizing service providers. We have a system of registration. So we are now actually developing these insights into such products which actually showcase the culture of various regions of India. The role of synergy and convergence, of course, takes care of all these stakeholders, and we really need to have very, very regular and intense conversations with them to keep working on the product to make it better and better. So the tourism scenario, the international tourist arrivals in India have almost touched the pre-COVID levels, and there was a growth rate of 104% over previous year, and we hope that this particular year in 2024, we will actually cross the pre-COVID levels. This is the statement on foreign exchange earnings. I think all of you already are aware. I would also skip this. So basically, this is the organization structure in MOT. We have a Ministry of Tourism headquarter where there is an additional secretary level officer. There is, of course, me, Director General Tourism, and we have a senior economic advisor who, three of us together, we take care of all the policy level decisions for different parts of the tourism sector. There are regional offices. We have 5 regions, North, South, East, West, and Northeast. Then, of course, there are the Central Institutes of Hotel Management and the Indian Culinary Institute. All these work under the overall guidance and supervision of the National Council for Hotel Management and Catering, which is based in Noida. We have an Indian Institute of Skiing and Mountaineering in Gulmarg, and IITTM in Gwalior and Noida. Then, of course, we have ITTC, which is actually our PSU and which is also the event manager, the facilitator, and actually the implementation arm of a whole lot of our schemes. The major schemes that we have are schemes of destination development. This includes, in fact, these are the functions of the ministry. Destination development schemes include integrated development of thematic circuits under Swadesh Darshan. Now under Swadesh Darshan, 2 destinations from every state have been identified, and work is in progress to develop the entire destination through a master plan and have a vision plan as to what products can be there. Then there is Prashad, which is about religious tourism sites, and I think a lot of religious tourism sites, by virtue of being in the near the rivers, have immense scope for cruise tourism, and a lot of it is being realized now, but I think we can also capitalize on it a lot more. Then there is assistance to central agencies for tourism infrastructure development. This was a scheme where if a central agency owns a land and they want to build some tourism facilities on it, the ministry gives some sort of viable gap funding. And for marketing, promotion and international cooperation, we have specific schemes for tourism promotion and branding in domestic as well as overseas markets. We have a big arm for skilling and capacity building in the tourism sector. There is an overall scheme called Capacity Building for Tourism Service Providers, and where through our IHMs, we conduct trainings in specific destinations for building capacities in terms of hospitality sector staff, like front office, housekeeping, and food preparation. We have specific schemes for guides, for having training programs for taxi drivers, for creating a whole ecosystem where all stakeholders are trained and counseled from time to time, because in most places a tourist comes into contact with shopkeepers, taxi drivers, other staff, and at the security forces, and not all of them are actually clued into the tourist aspect of the destination. So it is very important that all these agencies are friendly and attuned towards having a certain behavior around the tourists. And in the same vein, I would also say that when we talk of solo women travelers a lot these days, it is very important to have a lot of women in these places so that the entire ecosystem becomes safer for the solo women traveler, and it also adds to the empowerment of women. We have destination-based skill development programs. We have specific programs for development of homestays for homestay owners. We do a whole lot of skill training programs with artisans, weavers, food business operators as to how they should present their products better, have a more tourist-friendly approach, and actually create products around their art and crafts. Then we have centers of entrepreneurship, innovation and research in IITTM and ICI. These are the basic campaigns that we have been working on. There is promotion of cruise tourism is one of them. We are working extensively on campaigns for MICE tourism. So we have Meet in India and Wed in India. 2 campaigns are ongoing. In fact, tomorrow in Jaipur, we have a Wed in India Expo. And there also, river cruise tourism comes into play into a big way, because wedding festivities atop these, boats and cruise vessels is something which is very popular for pre-wedding or post-wedding celebration. Then the campaign is India Says I Do. And of course, around ecotourism, we have 35 best tourism villages which were declared by the ministry last year. We also have the UNWTO award for best village in tourism for Pochampalli and for Dhodo. Dhodo was awarded last year. And we are working on mega adventure trails. So one trail is across the Himalayas, and there's one trail which is along the river Ganga. So we are working with the states to develop these trails better. The Ministry of Tourism has provided central financial assistance to state governments and UT administrations for making cruise tourism and cruising terminals along rivers. And projects have also been sanctioned to create hard infrastructure in Andhra Pradesh, Goa, Maharashtra, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. I think that Vinayakji already had mentioned. River cruise, we have actually extended assistance for construction of boats, for construction of jetties, vessels, etc. And there is a task force which is together chaired by Secretary Shipping and Secretary Tourism, and the last meeting was held just last week on 25th of April, and a whole lot of strategies were devised. So taking from that is just a basic introduction. I would like to mention that while hard infrastructure is being taken care of by the Inland Waterways Authority of India and the Ministry of Shipping, and with some funding to Central Agency for minor projects here and there by Ministry of Tourism, the major place where Ministry of Tourism can actually play a role is into the softer interventions in actually developing a product which combines the culinary delights, the gastronomic experiences, the other arts and crafts of those areas. So if you're going along a river, in fact, just today we were having a discussion with the state tourism secretaries, and we said, why don't we do these multi-state itineraries along the river? So if you do Godavari, you have Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra. We already have seen that in Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat, from Statue of Unity to Statue of Oneness, it is already happening. So along these rivers, a typical model where people spend the night in the boat and in the morning they get off at some attraction. And there is an ecosystem of heritage tour guides, food tour guides, and people can actually register for whatever activity they want to do. There can be a point-to-point access that as soon as you get off at the terminal, people will take you in a group, take you around whatever activity you want to do. So this will involve a lot of integration with the creative cultural economies on a very, very hyper-local basis. But this is something we have already started working on. And once we have the sites identified, we would be actually asking our RDs to take out these itineraries and work on every single point in a way that we develop the accommodation units also that side. We have some good traditional food being served there. We have these heritage tours. We have some immersive experiences of arts and crafts, weaving, etc. So all that is in progress. One thing that actually all stakeholders I would urge to look into is the aspects of safety and security. Most states are now coming up with tourist police, and a lot of these places where a lot of, if at the planning stage we can identify what CCTV cameras would be there, what will be, because this is something which we have learned from our Prasad scheme, that a lot of temples where we had these high resolution CCTVs, the number of petty thefts has actually come down, because the perpetrators of these crimes actually feel that they might be recognized and caught. Case in point is Guruvayur temple in Kerala, where there has been a huge decrease in the number of petty thefts and chain snatchings and all, which has been reported, because the CCTV camera that was installed as part of the Prasad project was really of high resolution. It was being monitored. So I think those aspects should be actually built into at the project stage itself. So I think this is a very exciting venture, and Ministry of Tourism would be very, very happy to bring all the stakeholders together, from the tourism service providers, the creative cultural economy, the state governments, our own regional offices, and make a product and then actually package it and brand it for marketing across the world. We really have a huge network for marketing with tour operators abroad, and we have been actually strategizing to do very, very targeted marketing of products in different countries through the 184 missions. So I look forward to the exciting times ahead for inland river cruise tourism, and look forward to working with all the stakeholders. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for a very comprehensive overview of the works that your ministry and you as DG Tourism has done. Very remarkable, and we look forward to partnering with you in the river cruise segment in the years to come. Now, we're going to open the stage for discussions and various suggestions that we have also got from some of the stakeholders. Some of the stakeholders and other departments have also joined virtually, so I would also ask them to participate wholeheartedly in this. How we will structure this, that first I will request the stakeholders, the cruise vessel operators mainly, to begin with their points and their suggestions, and as we go along, the respective ministries or departments can respond to that. So may I please ask Mr. Raj Singh. Mr. Raj Singh is from the Heritage Cruise, the company which runs Ganga Vilas, apart from other vessels. So Mr. Raj Singh, can I please request you to share your thoughts?
Thank you so much for inviting all of us. It's a pleasure and privilege to be in this August gathering. And
sorry, Raj Singh ji, another request. Sorry, I should have said it before. I would like the participant to just keep it brief because of the paucity of time. We have time, but so that everybody can be involved, please keep your responses as well as suggestions and queries brief. Thank you.
so
Yes, sir.
I will be very brief and practical.
Yes.
Having operated the longest cruise for 52 days, and I've been there, so there are certain practical things. One of the things I would like to bring is Calcutta. So when we started the cruise, everything was sorted out, and there was the endangered memorial jetty which was given for customs clearance and everything. Now it's no more available for the same. Now what happens is that we already have cruises to Bangladesh, so we need some place where we can properly do. Now we are doing it. There is always jugards we do, so we need that clearance of allotment of jetty. The second is endangered memorial jetty of KOPT. They charge 25,000 rupees per day. Nowhere in India I mean, that's about $300. Even in Europe, those charges are there. So it should be available for usage at reasonable charges. The KOPT also has other jetties like Outram Ghat jetty that should also be available for us to use for domestic other cruises, which they should allow us. So this is my one thing. The second thing which I would like to say is that update is for...
Raj Singh ji, just 1 second. Our Secretary MOPSW has arrived. May I request Chairman IWAI to please felicitate Secretary with a potted plant, please. Sir. Welcome, sir. Sir, we have had brief presentations by DG Tourism as well as with IWAI, and we also showed the audience a short film on river cruise tourism, sir. And we have just about commenced the stakeholders discussion. Mr. Raj Singh is the first respondent, sir. Thank you, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
So I would like that this, for customs immigrations, the jetty situation should be cleared with KOPT. Also the charges and availability for other cruises when we sail from Calcutta to Varanasi. We should be allowed to use it for embarking and disembarking. So that's one thing which I want to say. The second thing is that National Waterway number 5, Odisha, Brahmani Batarni River. We started officially an operation in Odisha on W5. So that's operational from November 2023 onwards. We already have 2 catamaran vessels operating and 2 more would be there. So that can be taken as operational National Waterway number 5. Okay. It's there, it's on there. But what we need to do is that presently there's no infrastructure at all. And this is the lower reaches of the Brahmani River. All we need is a jetty and gangway at 1 or 2 places for boarding and deboarding of passengers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so broadly you have talked about the infrastructure being provided to you for immigration, and also the charges that are on the higher side, the charges that are being asked from by KOPT, and also you have brought about the infrastructure at NW5.
I would also like to say there are no fueling jetties anywhere on any of the waterways. We need fueling jetties, whether it's Calcutta or Varanasi.
Right, sir.
And just for your information, all our ships, we are making them as hybrids. That means all their functions would be by solar, except for navigation, other services like that. So we are going into that clean energy issue as well from our side. And the first ship would be there, would be Bengal Ganga, like that hybrid, which would be sailing to Varanasi and posted there. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, points well taken, and very appreciable that you are moving towards cleaner and greener energy. Anyone from KOPT is there? Calcutta Port Trust? There was some charge. There was charges being issued. Okay. Okay. So how we'll proceed is, first we'll hear from the stakeholders, and subsequently maybe we can consolidate all the response agency-wise, and the government and the other departments can respond. Thank you, Mr. Raj Singh. So now may I invite Mr. Sanay Bas from the Fair Horizon, if you are present here. Sanjay Bas.
Mr. Sanjay Basu.
Sanjay Basu, yes.
Thank you very much. Again, I would like to endorse what Mr. Raj Singh said, that it's a pleasure to be in this event, because for the first time we're really seeing both Ministry of Shipping and Ministry of Tourism together at the highest levels, and that's the synergy that we really want to see happen going forward. Coming to the operational side, I would say NW2, we operate in 2 waterways, NW2 and NW3. In fact, we started operation in NW3 in 1997. That was the first operations. And in NW2, since 2015, the major navigation problems to a very large extent have been solved. However, there needs to be a little more enhancement in the sense that we are the only river cruise ship which actually has a swimming pool And many times we are asked to empty the swimming pool, which is one of our 5-star facilities, because the channel becomes a little shallow. And that then becomes a disconnect between what we commit to the guests and what is delivered on the ship. So a little more effort into providing the draft. We are 6 feet draft, which is 1.82 meters, and that's within the 2.5 meter requirement. I know it's challenging because the alluvial river with the shoals forming can be a challenge, but just to put this on the table, if this could be taken into consideration. Other than that, of course, we need more jetties, places like Majuli, places like Bishwanath Ghat, various other points of call don't have a proper jetty. We have 2 tenders on the boat, and we need to many times tender the clients and make them get off in muddy shores. So you've got high-end clients who are getting their feet into muddy boots situation, which if it can be avoided would be really nice. On NW3, congratulations on the Tanir Mukam barrage having been opened, but it's again shut down. So if that can be expedited to be opened, because we operate the largest boat out there, the Vaikundam, and that's a 9-cabin boat. It has a lot of challenges operating through the old locks. The new lock is most important to get functional, otherwise the wooden boats can be insecure in their operation. And because of the Tanir Mukam barrage being modified, we've actually launched 7-night, 8-day cruises in the Kerala backwaters too, operating right from Cochin down to south. And we are really looking forward to the Triknapura barrage being readied so that we can go all the way to Kolam, which would be really fantastic and offer possibly 10, 11-night cruises. Having come to the operational side, NW3, I think the only other challenge is one is water hyacinth, which clogs up the canals, especially the narrow canals. And our request is that some of the narrow canals which are not part of NW should be incorporated in, because they are part of the whole sightseeing and the destination experience. So, there's the Karamadi Canal. If that can be brought into the NW, it would be a big, big help, because that's one of the star attraction, that region. Another challenge operationally in NW3 is that the concrete jetties of the IWI terminals are very high for the boats to dock against, especially when the water level goes down in the peak tourism time. And the levels are very, very far apart, so it becomes difficult for people to board and deboard. Floating jetties, if they can be put along with the concrete jetties, it would really simplify the matter. Coming to on behalf of Ministry of Tourism, ma'am, if I can mention, the subject of river cruising has become popular through the effort of the industry and of course the government too. On the whole, it's been private sector driven to a very large extent, both from operational and promotion point of view. If in the IncredibleIndia.com website, a special segment can be created to reflect the really wonderful experiences of all the operators out here, and of course the state governments and the country overall, so that this sector can be really made famous. When you think of Egypt, you think of the Nile. When you think of Europe, you think of the Danube and the Rhine. And when you think of Vietnam and Cambodia, you think of the Mekong. Or Myanmar, you think of the Irrawaddy. Unfortunately, India, we don't yet think of the rivers as the first prime destination to visit. So that on the international front would be really fantastic. I see some of my colleagues from the online travel companies ecosystem, and if they can be incorporated in, and we can do a synergy so that the domestic markets can be activated, because the domestic markets are completely away from the sector. Primarily, I think they find prices are high because the cost of investment in the cruise ships is very high, and the season is very short. So that becomes a disconnect. So if somehow domestic market can be revitalized for the sector too, that would be really nice, because during the pandemic, for 2.5 years, we were completely on a vacation and there was no operation at all. Lastly, on the GST front, I would mention, whereas on the whole, things are working well. I think North India, Northeast, we see all things are working well. In Kerala, the GST department seems to be very confused, whether we are a hotel, whether we are a transport, or whether we are a tourism operation. Because all three have different coding and different tax parameters. We are a hybrid, and the option of being operated as a transport and a tourism operation versus the subsumed element of hospitality, that needs to be made clearer with them. So having said that, I think these are my points, but I would again like to congratulate to see the two line ministries at the top level here, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Basu. Yeah, very comprehensive suggestions, and definitely they have been taken note of. May I now please invite the Secretary MOPSW to give a keynote address, sir. We missed him in the beginning. Sir, if you can please...
So namaskar everyone here present in physical form, as well as those who've joined us virtually. I understand a number of people have joined virtually also. And delighted to be here. And Chairman IWAI sounded me out a couple of days back on the organization of this conference. So I'd like to congratulate him and thank him for the invitation. Colleagues on the dais, Manisha, Mr. Azad, and Lakshman, and all the other friends in the auditorium, some of whom we know for quite some time, who've been working in this sector for a lot of time. To start with, I'd like to say that the ministry, the shipping ministry, and of course IWAI and all its constituent units are extremely gung-ho about cruise tourism in general. Not only the ocean cruise sector, but also the river cruise sector. And we believe that it is a great sector for employment generation, for ensuring that we sell what our country has to offer, and of course all the attendant, the concomitant benefits that you get out of it in terms of services, economic development, and so on. The ministry therefore has, as you know, released a river cruise development plan policy during the Inland Waterways Development Council meeting in Calcutta in January. The Inland Waterways Development Council itself is a new institutional mechanism to get all the states together once in a year or once in 6 months so that we can deliberate on some of these issues. Apart from this, why I'm starting with the institutional mechanism is that is where ideas get translated into action. That's where exchange of ideas take place. So the institutional mechanism that now exists is being strengthened by a state level maritime and water transport development corporation committee headed by the chief secretaries. We have written to all the state governments, and among the many subjects that it will handle, including Sagarmala schemes, maritime connectivity, issues related to water transport, of course inland waterways, is cruise tourism. Because we realize that unlike certain other sectors, tourism is essentially led by the state governments. It says tourism is a state subject, and therefore, of course, our Joint Secretary will agree with me that we have a facilitating role. The Tourism Ministry has a facilitating role, but ultimately the work is at the state level. And this is a peculiar case where two ministries have to work together along with the states. So we have the third, so the state level mechanism we hope which we have put in place, and we have included representatives from tourism, from transport, water, because you can't have inland waterway tourism unless you have water, and you can't have just tourists, like you said, stranded in the river without water when the water is being diverted, let's say for irrigation or whatever. And therefore there is requirement for closely collaborating with the state government, especially the irrigation or the water supply or the waterways departments. So the third institutional mechanism is the joint task force on tourism, cruise tourism, which we have established at the central level, in which the Secretary Tourism and the Secretary Shipping and Waterways are the co-chairs. And we had a meeting a few days back, and many of the issues that are now being talked about here were dealt with. We have an advisory committee chaired by the Mumbai Port Chairman, in which a lot of you are members, a lot of people from outside are members. In fact, when we recently, I think one group went to Europe to look at what happened, what is happening in the river cruise sector, of course green energy, and the way the inland waterways are being harnessed for this purpose in Europe. And of course, everywhere in Europe, in many of the Western countries, in like other countries, East, Southeast Asia, East Asia, the rivers are crucial. And I mean, you can't go to London without going onto the Thames. But sadly, it's not the case in India, because we still have not, I think, thought about how important the river cruise sector is. The day cruises, they all cost dozens of pounds, to sit on those cruises just for a couple of hours, or dollars as the case may be. So this team went, they have come back with some very bright ideas. Similarly, we had a team in Miami, the cruise capital of the world. And you can see a line of cruise ships, about a dozen ships, huge ships. It's a home port for many destinations, for many circuits. So we heard about the Mediterranean circuit, we heard about the Vanilla Island circuit, we heard about, of course, the which are the other ones? The Caribbean, and so on. And then the cruise Saudi, cruise Arabia. But we have to create a cruise India. Okay, so that is what we are discussing with tourism. So the branding and the fact that we need the institutional mechanism, the policy, etc., all that is in place is the first point, the second point that I'd like to make. The third thing is that given the fact that inland waterways have so much of transformative power in everything, whether it's in ferries or transport, which we have not yet harnessed the way we should have, I'm glad that inland waterways has really now taken off, and they have looked at the various aspects that are being now talked about. So first thing is, of course, infrastructure. You need the fairways, you need the draft. You can't have situations like the ones you mentioned, so you need that. So they're working very hard at it. Lot of dredging tenders have been finalized, so hopefully we will have at least a 2-meter draft continuously from at least from Varanasi onwards. Similarly, we are looking at several other circuits, and the potential is so enormous that, and I have always also been a tourism secretary in Tamil Nadu, so I know, we have tour operators, we've attended all the tour conferences at Berlin, Tokyo, London, Spain, and we know that, for instance, in the cruise conference at Miami, we were not present, but next time we will definitely be present. So the thing is that all of us should get together, brainstorm, find out what are the things that are the pain points and try to solve them. The infrastructure is very important. I think a lot of work is being done on that. Infrastructure is easily developed, as you know, but operating that, okay, that is the next thing. So operations. And when I talk of infrastructure, it's not just jetties, it's also about the terminals. We are building a half a dozen world-class terminals, including one in Mumbai, which is, I think, going to be inaugurated in a few months. World-class terminals. But I think world class now, after seeing some of the terminals abroad, I think world class really needs a definition. Now it's superb the kind of things there are. But let's start off somewhere, and therefore the terminals, the IWT terminals that are built along the major rivers, NW1, NW2, I think those will be, I think, of high quality, at least functional. We should have functional terminals. The idea is not to stay in the terminal, so it's only going to be a few hours, or at the most a couple of hours, especially at the port level. But inland waterways maybe not even that. It's just a place to get down and go. So that infra. Second is tour circuits. So my request to all the tourism departments from the state is that we are planning a tripartite agreement between the state, the MOPSW or the IWAI and the Ministry of Tourism, so that what each entity is required to do, whether it is the state, because it's not enough that you get the tourists to disembark at a particular port. What will they do? And we have so many things to offer, and obviously they don't want to spend half a day in your beautiful terminal, however beautiful it is. Okay, they want to go out, they want to experience the country. Therefore the importance of tour operators, tour circuits, and the infrastructure along that, and that only the state government and the tour operators can do. We had horror stories recounted to us. I will not get into that. Suffice it to say that we must give a very pleasant experience. Nobody will come if you don't give them a pleasant experience, and that includes things like quick movement through immigration, customs, etc. at the port or at the terminal, including in the inland waterways. We have terminals with Bangladesh, etc., where international operations are there. So quick evacuation, quick movement, and then the tour circuit should be very well planned, and it should take cognizance of what is available. For instance, Chennai, of which I am aware, should put in a lot of heritage, but it should also put in a lot of fun, and everything is there. You have world heritage like Mahabalipuram, you have heritage like Kalakshetra, art like Kalakshetra, Kanchipuram, and then the backwaters, just a few dozen kilometers away. So there's so much that you can do, but all that has to be put into one consolidated tour which is well delivered. For instance, I think even toilets become very important. The kind of buses that are used, the quality of the buses, the reception that is given, the interpretation, and so on. All that. So that has to be there. And then, of course, as far as inland waterways is concerned, the vessels and the upkeep of those vessels, etc. We have a few vessels already operating, and from the experience of Mr. Singh and rest of you here, I think it has been a largely positive experience. I'm told it's booked for 4 or 5 years. So then comes to the issue of promotion. So who will promote? We are willing to promote. We are willing to put money into it. Tourism is also telling us that we'll co-brand this entire sector. And training, who will serve on the vessels, who will we have a lot of options in India, because we have so many of these hotel management institutions. Apart from that, we have NINI, we have IMU, large number of training institutions which can do that. And then so I think looking at all these challenges, if today in this workshop, if you are able to come to some conclusion as to what are the pain points, what are the challenges, and what can we do in the next 100 days, because for us 100 days is very important, then 1 year is very important, 5 years is very important. We've been told very specifically the 5-year plan should have 1 year segments, and then 100-day segments. So we want to deliver quickly on whatever you think are the pain points, and we have the chairman IWA. I think a lot of work is being done in IWA. So I hope that these discussions will come up with many more suggestions that can add to our kitty and help to take the cruise sector, inland waterways cruise sector forward. And I think we are looking at what kind of numbers, what are the targets, maybe a few lakhs in the first year. Of course, overall cruise we are saying 50 million or something like that by 47. Okay, but at least 5 million in the next 5 years, if it's doable. Okay, so I'll stop there and hope that some of you will help us reach that goal. Thank you and best wishes.
Thank you very much, sir, for showing us the way forward. Now carrying on the stakeholders discussion forward, may I now invite Mr. Vikas Malviya, who operates his vessels in Varanasi, in the holy city of Varanasi. Mr. Malviya, thank you for coming, and then any suggestions or points that you may like to raise in this forum.
Namaskar to everyone. Most of the issues Mr. Raj Singh has taken care of, and you are well aware that first and foremost is to get the water levels throughout the year. And we are right now operating in Varanasi, and very soon we are going to start our operations in NW40, Saryu River in Ayodhya. There huge problem, presently huge problem of water level is there in Ayodhya. So that you are aware and you are taking care of, so thanks for that. And one more aspect I would like to bring your notice, the issue of you have floating jetties and points of embarkation and disembarkation at many places. The major issue is to make them friendly for wheelchair friendly, or it can be easily accessed to old people. Like we have a huge percentage of tourists who are coming of old age, and everyone gets it is difficult to reach our floating jetty, or like on our ghat. It is right now 53 stairs. A guest has to manage to come down, and in return he has to go up 53 stairs, and it is a difficult task for so many people. So this is one more aspect. If you can make those places everywhere wheelchair friendly and old people friendly, it will be a very good help. And all the issues you are well aware. We are hoping it gets as soon as possible. Major issue is water levels. Thank you. And we are also taking care of this green energy. Right now 4 of our vessels are under construction, and 3 will be the first time in India state-of-art solar e-boats. 3 of them are solar e-boats. So we are also looking into green energy aspect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malviya, and thank you for your initiatives in again greening the vessel technology. Also, Mr. Malviya is one of the operators who has taken one of our IWAI vessel, MV Manekshaw, Sam Manekshaw, which is operating in.
Presently we are operating 3 of your vessels.
Yes.
To Swami Vivekanand and Manekshaw.
Yes.
They are a similar RoPax vessel. We have converted into adding more facilities to make them tourist friendly. And recently we have got your first e-catamaran in Varanasi.
Right.
MV Nishadraj. We are also operating, and we have hosted so many delegates in a very short period of 1 month. We have hosted film stars Ranveer Singh and Kriti Senon on those. Then delegation was of sadhus from Swami Narayan BSP. So we hosted them, and it was inaugurated with the high-level delegation from National Defence College of Delhi. So we inaugurated our tour with those delegates.
Lovely. Thank you, Mr. Malviya. Your points are well taken. We'll respond to that. Now, can I request Mr. Manoj from Ayodhya Cruise? Mr. Manoj? Yes, please. Can we pass on the mic to Mr. Manoj? One of the mics.
Hello everyone. Actually, our problem is जैसे Mr. Malviya जी ने बोला, Mr. Malviya जी कि वहाँ पे हमें जो प्रॉब्लम है मेन जो है वाटर लेवल की प्रॉब्लम आ रही है. वहाँ पर सरयू में जो बेसिकली क्या है कि सिल्ट का डिपॉजिट बहुत ज़्यादा है. That's why we are not able to run our operations.
वो तो जैसा आपको शुरू बता रहे हैं, in the beginning only he told, सरयू में already we have approved a proposal to carry out dredging. So this problem will be resolved hopefully in the next 3 to 4 months. So it has already been approved and agreed.
Okay. One more thing I want to say. Okay, at the time of the high current in the river, can we operate our cruise or not? Because irrigation department is saying कि it's not possible you are operating.
इसमें ऐसा करेंगे. We have got officers from UP also, state government also. So once
I am Commander Nigam sir, advisor on water
नहीं ऐसा करेंगे ना, बाद में we will, once everybody has spoken from the operator side, then the state government and ministries can mention their views and respond wherever is possible. Whatever is not possible, we are going to monetize everything and come back to you in any case. So आप बाद में respond कर दीजिएगा साथ में सबको.
That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. May I now ask Nirmalaya Chaudhary from Assam, Bengal? Mr. Chaudhary, please. Can we please have him?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity to speak and attend this amazing seminar. Most of my industry colleagues, Mr. Raj Singh, Mr. Sanjay Vasu and others have enumerated the necessary elements that we look forward to from the Ministry of Shipping, IWAI. One of the other things that I would like to bring up is it is necessary to have masters of the vessel, pilots. We all know that we cannot operate long distance luxury cruises or any river cruise operation without pilots and other the masters of the vessel, wellmen, etc. We also know that especially in the state of Assam, due to various bridges that has come into operation, a lot of skilled people with traditional knowledge of the river has gone out of operation. They know the river very well. They have been operating various kinds of river boats across the NW2, but they may not have the necessary educational qualification to qualify to become a pilot or a master of the vessel. Now, we already in the state of Assam, we have under the specialized skill development initiative, we have institutions in place in Guwahati as well as in Bihar. I request the government to think of a unique solution to bring these people to conduct specialized training programs for these people. They may not be very highly educated to come into and appear in written examinations per se. But if we can take practical examinations of these people on the river with river vessels and see if they can pass these examinations, I am sure many of the people who have lost their jobs, many are going to lose because many new bridges are also coming up. For example, connecting Majuli Island. We know how many huge number of vessels that operates between the Nimati Ghat and Majuli Island. So these people, if they can be given this recognition by a unique specialized training program for them and giving them these qualifications and certificates, I am sure all of us will be very happy to absorb them in our own operations. This is a proposal that I want to put in place. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Point well taken. May I now request Mr. Sandeep Wadhwa from JM Bakshi. Mr. Wadhwa, please.
My colleague, Commander Neville Malau will speak.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of JM Bakshi, I think the unifying factor here is the term cruising, because while most of the people here are related to river cruising, we handle about 85 to 90% of the coastal cruising that comes into India. And we're also building the first privately operated cruise terminal in Mumbai, which, as Mr. Secretary said, we hope to make it a world-class terminal with facial recognition technology for passenger management. It's going to be one of the largest in the world, at least larger than any other in Europe. We will have a footprint of almost 2 lakh square feet for the terminal area. All these things are very good, and going forward, there are a few stumbling blocks, as mentioned before. Most of it being related to the immigration and customs facilities concerning foreign tourists into India. In fact, it is getting critical because at least the immigration processes need to be streamlined to a very large extent and very quickly, for the simple reason that I can give you an example because of an incident which has occurred even day before yesterday. As late as yesterday, one of the major cruise lines of the world have threatened to pull out of India if things don't improve. As late as yesterday. Now, we have had 3 incidents in the last 2 weeks where 3 ships have sailed out late because of certain immigration problems. Now, these are things which are impediments into getting cruising into India and which needs to be addressed very, very quickly. The systems, the processes, as I said, need to be addressed. As regards connecting with the river cruises, most foreign tourists, I would say most, quite a few foreign tourists do take overland tours to visit the Golden Triangle, etc. and all. And we could try and integrate those with river cruising, offer them packages where they can sort of say if they are hitting Cochin, they can visit the backwaters of Kerala, stay overnight instead of going overland into other places. So such options need to be sort of explored. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nev. May I now request Mr. Sameer Bajaj from MMT? Mr. Bajaj, if you...
Absolute pleasure being here. I represent Make My Trip, India's leading travel portal. We sell almost everything, anything that a traveler may need, right from a hotel to a homestay to a flight. But currently we don't offer cruises on our platform. I think Mr. Basu made a very, a relevant comment to DG ma'am, when he spoke about that cruises should be their own incredible India platform. I'll just like to add to that. Just the mention of river cruises or a page on river cruises has to be extended with bookability. We need to ensure that all our cruises are easily bookable online. And for that we need to build an API wherein everybody can integrate and any consumer, any traveler across the country can book. Because if you want the cruise tourism to grow dramatically in India, especially when you spoke about promotions, this aspect has to be closed. This gap has to be closed. Because the decisions, we recently, came out with a travel trends report on how do Indian travelers behave. A lot of our travel decisions happen very late. They happen within, say, 7 days of travel. Almost 40% of Indian bookings happen within 7 days of travel. If we have to impact this segment, who sometimes may book late, we need to ensure that the technology is at their doorstep. They should be able to discover, find, and book. Not just the cruise, which cabin in the cruise, what kind of cabin in the room, everything online seamlessly. That will be my only contribution to this. I think this is something we need to together solve for. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a very quick rejoinder to that. We, in fact, a couple of months back organized a meeting with all these aggregators like MMT. In fact, representatives from MMTs were also there, but the dialogue still continues. Thank you. May I now request Mr. Pankaj Ravish from IRCTC? Please hand over the mic.
Good afternoon, everybody. Honorable members at the dais and my dear colleagues. So I represent IRCTC. We are a government organization, so I can give something which is towards the government side. And since we are a booking portal, we have everything related to travel on our portal, which is sellable online. So I can give a light on the customer phase, to the ministry phase, and to what we can look forward. As my friend from MMT has rightly said, that as of now, whatever anybody see, only he books that thing. और जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So in that way, IRCTC has created a designated page for cruise tourism, where we have already on page Antara, RV and MV. So from this platform, I'd like to invite all the colleagues, whoever have the cruise, we are open for integrating. So what that integration will give? One, IRCTC have wide reach, international, domestic both. So one, we are able to sell those cruises to all the people. Secondly, by default, we can facilitate building a unified API where all the cruises are present on a single platform and which through API can be given to any online player, domestic or international. So visibility of Indian cruises will be not only will be in India but present in the international as well. Secondly, I'll request the honorable member of DICE. So how the cruise can be sold? There is a, so I'll request the provisioning of LTC policy along with the DOPT need to be revived where cruise can be included in LTC, because as of now the government people cannot take LTC on many of the routes. There are only 1 or 2 circuits where they are entitled but not as per the policy. Secondly, there is a guideline by Ministry of Tourism to promote destination. So there are 10 destinations which need to be promoted for the board meeting. So if the cruise as well be included in the list of destinations to be promoted, that will be really great and wonderful. Thirdly, we are already promoting Dekho Apna Desh. So we need to build a campaign on Dekho Apna Cruise as well. So which will boost Bharat Cruise or Indian Cruise. And on front of training, when we talk about, there is a program of Sathi training by Ministry of Tourism. So those batches can be given to those cruise staff members and those can be shown on MOT side, because by this the customer have a confidence that a particular staff member of a cruise has been given a particular class of training. So they build a confidence on coming to a cruise and having a particular type of a service. And I like to thank all. This is a great platform, and we being IRCTC are open to promote it, to make MOU with the Ministry of Port or Shipping Corporation and with the private players as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be the first one to take that LTC when as and when it starts. We are all very keen. We definitely will. Thank you. May I now invite a representative from Pandava Cruise?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Elena.
You can use the mic, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Elena. I'm the CEO of Pando. And well, first of all, thank you to invite us to come here. And also thank you to IWAI to help us during this season. That was very hard, but thanks to all you, it could be happen. Then Pando wants to expand in India, and we want to cruise in other rivers. And we have 17 ships in all Asia, and we have some of them stopping in Myanmar because we cannot run operations there. And we think that India is a perfect location to expand our company. And then we are thinking in other rivers, but the information that it means is about the depth of the rivers, the height of the bridges, if there is electric cables crossing the rivers. Also, well, this is the most important that we need to start to plan our new destinations. For example, we are interested in Kerala, but we are looking for all the bridges that there is there, and it looks like they are very low. And it's like how we are gonna bring one of our ships in Kerala. Is gonna be possible or not? Then this information is information that we needed to start to plan our expansion in India. And I don't know if my colleagues have some requests. No? Then this is everything. Thank you.
Just one quick response.
So the information on the waterways, their depth, the bridges and the clearances is available on our website. This is an open website, you can access it anytime, and it is updated regularly. So my colleague will give you the website address also and the portal name also. So that information is there in real time. You can access it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. As sir has explained, all these details that you are looking at are available on a portal called PANI, P-A-N-I portal, on our website, which is mentioned at our back. So you can visit. You can always contact us if you need any further information. Thank you very much. May I now invite Mr. Anand Sharma from WebCos? WebCos, yes, sir. Would you have any comments, or can we pass on the mic? Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. We were the consultants who worked with IWAI for cruise tourism on all India basis and identification of rivers. So during our study, we did interact with the stakeholders. So whatever they have said, we have also written in our reports. Beyond that, I think the depth, the assurance of navigability, air draft restriction, infrastructure support, and integration with the different departments of ministry. These are 4 or 5 things which are, some of it is infrastructure related, some of it is policy related. So apart from this, I think there is nothing.
Right. Thank you very much. In fact, the destinations that I showed on my slide, which have been identified for river cruise development, that's a study done by WebCos, through which we had identified. Anyone else from the stakeholders that I may have left out? Yes, sir. Sorry,
Cruise operators and state governments and then we come to this.
Yes, sir.
Only the points have not been made so far.
Yes, sir. Can you please introduce yourself? I didn't have your details.
Sir, my name is Debojit Kumar Bora.
Okay.
I am from Brahmaputra Cruise Private Limited. We are operating since 1998. I am also the president of Tour Operators Association of Assam and General Secretary of Northeast India Tourism Confederation. So coming to the point, I'll just keep it short. For GST, we want that for river cruising, GST is right now 18%. We wanted to make 5% for the river cruising that is happening on inland waters in India. Second thing, sir, in terms of we don't have any dry dock facility or ship repair facility on NW2, which is a big problem for us. Third thing, sir, under the Design and Construction Rule 2023, the definition of categorization of vessel is that any DAC vessel which is operating on Zone 1. But in Survey and Registration Rules 2022, it is not given that they need to operate on Zone 1. So we need clarification on that. Also, in regards to survey of vessels, under the Survey and Certification Rules 2022, there are some conflicts. Rule 11 says that for vessels not going to seaports and all, and for vessels over the age of 20 years, does not require dry dock survey. An internal satisfactory survey will do. But rule number 9 of the same act says that every vessel needs their bottom to be checked from outside. So there are certain confusions in that.
Just one quick response to what you asked. The shipbuilding facility is already under construction. It's already being done at Pandu. It should be operational within a year. And the issue about the rules that you mentioned, so we are examining all the rules in consultation with the state government, and we'll be revising these anomalies which are there. So that point we will note and come back.
Thank you, sir. Regarding the action committee that has been formed in the state level, we would like the stakeholders to be taken into that group, because then only we will be able to participate in the developments. Then in regards of subsidy, the recently launched scheme Unnati for the Northeast northeastern states. Only houseboats is mentioned under the scheme. No river cruise vessels is mentioned under the Unnati scheme, developed by the Department of Industries, Promotion and DIPPT. So we want under Unnati that river cruise vessels should also be mentioned. Regarding, we are into long cruising, and we are also operating daily cruises like breakfast, lunch cruise, dinner cruises, daily cultural programs and all. We are coming up with another vessel, but what we don't give is, we don't give importance to the accessible tourism. So our vessels should be with, washrooms should be along with, in line with the, this, for the people with disability and all, should be equipped with lifts and all, so that our vessels are equipped to promote accessible tourism. Coming to ma'am from MOT, can we have a approved river cruise operator section in the Ministry of Tourism, because right now we don't have any such approval for cruise operators. We have tour operators, travel agents, transport operators, but river cruise operators can be given a special section under the Ministry of Tourism. Then there is no categorization of river cruises. So we also would like to, from the Ministry of Tourism, categorization of river cruises, so that we are maintaining a universal Indian standard, so that all can be taken into under one these standards. That's also.
Thank you, Mr. Bora. I'd like to respond very quickly on just one of your points. You mentioned about there's no scheme for river cruise tourism is in the Northeast in the Unnati scheme, but IWAI has a scheme called the CSS scheme, Central Sector Service Grant Scheme, in which all the states from Northeast are eligible for grants for developing any kind of infrastructure, including vessel. But the proposal will have to come from the state government. So perhaps you can explore that. You can engage with the state government as well.
So I would like Ministry of Tourism and IWAI, shipping industry, to say promote, because under Unnati many schemes are there for tourism development. Even houseboats are there. Just a mention of the word river cruise vessels will.
Okay.
Because for big vessels it is very important.
Point taken. Thank you very much. I think that's about it from the stakeholders. Now, many of the points have been discussed. Sorry, ma'am. I thought you were already. Can you please use the mic? Okay. Yes, Mr. Basu.
I have the fortune of having both my companies listed in this list, so I'll take the liberty of just adding 3 more points.
Okay, please.
A few of them are very critical. Central India, East India and the Northeast India is suffering from a level 4 travel advisory by the US. And it is very unfair, because the American ambassador even went for the Hornbill Festival, had a wonderful time in Nagaland and came back and still is keeping the level 4 travel advisory. And this is something I would like to appeal to Ministry of Tourism, to request the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to take it up, because the primary market for inbound tourism is overseas still, and US is the largest market for us, and that becomes a huge hindrance. Travel insurances become exorbitant, and also people get deterred. We've countered this extensively with close to about 150 international publications writing about Assam through our efforts, and also Nat Geo People channel carrying a feature for 1 hour. Those are positive counters, but this negative counter keeps making it 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. So that is one. And the second is that I would just like to mention to all the travel portal representatives that companies like us, we are API enabled. We've just integrated with a UK-based cruise specialized API or technology platform, which has given us access to about 40,000 travel agents in Europe, UK, etc. And we would really be happy to offer our technology linkage to them to promote in their markets too. Finally, So as you're here, as Secretary Shipping, Ports and Waterways, if I could mention that presently I missed being on the National Task Force meeting because we were intimated just a day or two before and we were traveling, and I could not get the opportunity to raise this point there. While the focus is very strongly on ocean, deep ocean cruising. So on the deep ocean cruising, there's a lot of work happening. The cruise terminals are coming, and of course a lot of the international cruise operators are operating, and of course Cordelia is there. River cruising, you all are giving a lot of focus, and thank you so much for it. But the greatest potential of Indian waters really lies from Dwarka, Somnath to Rameshwaram to Konark, Puri and Calcutta. These over 60 destinations along our coastline. The coastal cruising is the magic that is waiting to happen. That is what will make India the Mediterranean of the East, the warm water cruise destination, and not the big ship cruising. While the big ship cruising will give us big numbers of tourists who land in India, but they don't give much revenue to the country. The average earning would be not more than about $40, $50, $60 per person per port call, because the accommodation, meals and all the facilities are really on the ship. It's the coastal cruising and the river cruising which will land big money in the country and will give the taxation benefit to the country and the employment generation to the country. And we are really rich on our coast. Between the island sets on both sides, the island countries on all sides, and the neighboring Southeast Asian countries and the Middle Eastern countries, which form the same Indian Ocean circuit, if we can integrate all this together, we are looking at offering a 30,000 kilometer long coastline for cruising to happen, where you can expect almost about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 plus yachts, possibly 3,000 vessels from the Mediterranean coming in the winters and settling down here and being based for at least 6 months out here. Because winters, those destinations die away. Right now they go to the Caribbean. India is waiting to just take it all over. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Basu. Very valid suggestions. So now we'll begin with the responses. Many of these points concern multiple agencies and state governments. So, Mr. Bansal, have you noted down the issues? Can you just please one by one start with the responses? Yes. So the state governments, we can start. Yes, from Bihar. Mike, please.
Thank you. Sir, I would start on a positive note that very recently we have come out with our new tourism policy, and there is a 25% subsidy component in it for river cruise tourism. So that's a very big thing, and all the players who are here, I urge upon all of them to please do visit us, and we are in final stages of writing our guidelines, how we can facilitate you in taking these benefits. So my request, humble request to all the players out here. Apart from that, there are a couple of points, sir. First, I'll request to the IWAI. There are small little issues like pontoon bridge issues. Whenever there is a big cruise vessel, it goes on from Varanasi to Calcutta. We would also like to have at least one dry docking facility within the stretch of Bihar. Because what is happening, off late we are able to ply 4 or 5 vessels, but somehow they all have to go all the way to Calcutta to do any sorts of repair, and it is very costly affair for them to ply all the way from Bihar to Calcutta. One more point that I would like to make upon the positive side of Bihar is that we have got Nini. So that way we have got ample manpower resources available at Bihar. This I can vouch because off late we have tendered around 5-6 vessels plus around 7 places where we have started our own boat facilities, water sports, and we have got ample competition from different players, and they have all employed people who have taken training from NINI. So that is a positive aspect for all the players, cruise players who want to come to Bihar. Moving on, sir, all along Ganges we cannot do any sorts of construction because of a river regulation, the floodplain regulation. So whatever berthing facilities and other things that we are constructing or we are doing, that is happening through a prefab structures. So if a clear-cut guideline can come up maybe from an IWA side, that will really help state government, especially who are all along Ganges. So these are a few important points that I would like to highlight. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Some issues from Kerala government, that GST issues has been raised.
Representative from Andhra Pradesh. Yes, ma'am.
Very good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. So we have 3-4 issues, sir. So one is Godavari. Godavari from Rajahmundry to Bhadrachalam, we have plenty of water. Right now there are 40 boats are running, 100-seater, 80-seater, but there are no facilities across the coast. Like, we want some kind of a mini dockyard, because now whatever we are doing, we are using balloons, and then whenever the boats got damaged or repaired, so we are doing that. So we want to promote a luxury cruise there, because of the Polavaram, so the inbounding Godavari waters will increase the water level. Right now from Rajahmundry to Pochavaram we are going by boat. From there they are night halting. By road they are going to Bhadrachalam and again coming back. So in the coming days the water level will increase. We can directly go to Bhadrachalam. Actually we had a couple of times we had a talk with Raj Singh ji also, because there is a huge potential. If you can help us to build some kind of an infrastructure across this line, this will help us to launch the luxury boats or cruise there. And second thing is Krishna. We are not able to use Krishna as on today. Actually last month we have planned for a religious tourism circuit, because it starts from Kanakadurga temple and it goes to Amravati, which is a Buddhist circuit, and it's also one of the Pancharamam. Across this, there is one temple built by TTD, Vaikuntapuram. So we have planned one circuit. When we started the cruise trials, we could not go through the waters at middle, we could start, because of the dredging is not taking place. The draft is less than 1 meter. So 1 meter less draft is there. So if we can improve the draft, because we have written to IWA for doing a bathymetric survey and then do dredging, so that we can use that entire stretch of 100 kilometers for the temple tourism as well as heritage and cultural tourism. And we also have one more advantage, because Muthiala is a place where lot of cement transport is taking place. If a barge can be used, then the cement can be transported from that place to the Vijayawada and other places. That will also some kind of a revenue to us also. This is the second point, sir. Third point, we don't have any issue from Nagarjuna Sagar to Akamamba. We are running boats. But from Nagarjuna Sagar to Srisailam, we are not able to run cruises, because only 2-3 months we could able to run cruises because of one dam at Lingala Gutta. They have constructed one dam. Unless the water level increases to 550 feet, we are not able to run the cruises. This is one area where we need your help, sir. And the fourth point is, sir, we have been supplied with 3-4 pontoons by the IWA. They are lying idle, sir, because we have not executed any agreement because of some payment issues here and there. So I request Chairman IWA give permission so that we start utilizing the pontoons, otherwise they are lying waste there. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And Andhra has just recently formed a State Inland Waterways Authority also. We are in touch with them. Also, we have a sub-regional office in Vijayawada. I will definitely inform them, and you can also connect with them.
We already have two discussions with them, sir, because of these pontoons as well as the dredging activity required to put the Krishna River into use. Okay. Because we have all things put in place, but because of the draft has got reduced, we are not able to run the boats there.
So your point has been noted here, ma'am, and I will touch base with my office in Vijayawada. We'll resolve this issue.
Can we have from MP and UP now? Oh, there's some issues.
Just I will take it.
take the remaining points. Sir, we do not have any national waterways, as you know. So my question is, are we eligible for Sagarmala or any other centrally funded schemes for capital subsidy? And at the same time, what will be the funding modalities for processing such finances? That is my first thing. Secondly, as you all know that we have a tripartite MOU. So we need little bit of knowledge sharing, though not on this platform, about shipbuilding, because we would be needing it because it being a greenfield location. And the third, the same what she mentioned, that we have just have 2 pontoons there and which are just lying idle without any safety measures. I think IWI should take little bit of concern about it. Thank you.
So I am Commander Nigam from MP and UP. I am looking after both as advisor for water tourism. I have been working for last 20 years, and this cruise from a statue of oneness to a statue of unity, I have pioneered it. And I have some very vital points which I want to bring to the notice of Honorable Chair. The first point is, sir, in Madhya Pradesh, we need notification of Narmada River very fast, sir. Then only we can go ahead. So kindly help us to get this notified. Then there are other dams which are, Narmada River connects it with Tawa and all. Those notifications are very essential to go ahead for the cruise tourism. We are running 6 cruises, but they are day cruises, and we have got biggest revenue from tourism from these 6 cruises, but they are all in the dam and lake. And we are planning backward cruises in Gandhi Sagar. So if these rivers are notified, especially Narmada and Chambal, then we will be able to run these cruises for the internal tribal belt very effectively, sir. And it will have the biggest impact on the rural tourism. Number 2, say about electric catamaran boat which have been supplied by IWAI. I am looking after that in Ayodhya, Mathura, and also in Varanasi. It's a very good effort, sir. One little request, these boats have the closed cabins, sir. They have only AC cabins. The tourists cannot come out and take photographs and selfies. There is no weather deck. There is no open deck. I had been to Cochin shipyard in connection with the same boats, and they have assured me they can do the modifications, sir. If possible, kindly have it done. A upper deck accessibility, if it can be done, sir, these boats will become very valuable to the tourists, sir. Otherwise, they can't, like Banaras, they can't see the Aarti. They are enclosed in the cabins, sir. This is a very essential part of this boat. Third point is, sir, which I am really pained is, now we have talked about all this cruise tourism. Recently, we have been hit by the Honorable NGT and Supreme Court decision in Bhopal. All Ramsar sites, they are going to stop the cruising and motor vessel activities. Bhopal was the number 1, and we have lost the case in Honorable Supreme Court, sir. So once we are starting the cruising tourism, Ganges is Ramsar site, Chilka is Ramsar site. We must take care of adopting all the norms of NGT environment, and no such letter should be issued from, we got it in our own letter. But I mean, by not foresight, one letter was issued that regulated activities, only non-motorized vessels are permitted in Ramsar site. State government issued this letter, sir. So I am just telling this in advance to everyone that if Environment Ministry takes care of that, green vessels should at least be permitted. And that's what we are trying for Upper Lake Bhopal, that electric boat and green vessels should be permitted. This is a very important part for all stakeholders, they should remember now. Ramsar sites have become very critical, and anybody can come with the PIL, sir. Then Ministry of Tourism, I will request, as has been brought out, cruise tourism, ma'am, for the schemes you have to make a separate identity now. Like you have Prasad scheme, you have ecotourism scheme. All the cases which I have been handling, like MP government was given 12 crore rupees, it was under ecotourism. Now let's have a cruise tourism head in your scheme, ma'am. It will help a lot for getting the cruise tourism promoted all over the place. Then about Ayodhya, somebody has brought out the question of the Saryu River. So it's true that there are shallow patches in Saryu River, but the cruise can be operated there for 8 months. And the flood time, I would never recommend, like I being a naval officer, I have sailed around the world and enough experience. 3 months we must rest and maintain the cruise in river which have the current and floods. Anytime any mishap can happen. So these Saryu has lot of current. So I would advise the gentleman whose stakeholder is there. Like we are running 6 boats supplied by you, sir, in Ayodhya. We'll stop it for 3 months, maintain it, and do that. That is important. For UP, we would request you now, to come out with more additions, and especially to get financial assistance for, I am planning a cruise now from Ayodhya to Banaras. We have just got the vessel from you, IWAI. It has proven that it is possible. So we must, I am working on that project, we need some assistance from IWAI. Lastly, sir, which is a very important factor, I have been facing a lot of problems, is certification of vessels. It is only being done by IRS now. Big vessels, all right, they go from manufacture to the launching stage and this thing. But small cruise vessels, 40 and 50 seaters, if we go to the IRS, they are not cost effective and takes lot of time to get them certified, and we have lot of this. My suggestion, being having so much experience, that let's get naval architect registered, and certain vessels can be certified by the naval architect, like civil engineering, like houses. They have the civil engineer registered.
Point taken, sir.
Yes.
All valid points. Thank you very much. Yes, please.
I'm Dr. Patel from Maharashtra.
Just 1 second. I think Secretary has another engagement, so we'll have to ask. Yes, please.
I'm Dr. Patel from Maharashtra Tourism. First, I would like to say that we may come with a new tourism policy 2024 after Code of Conduct, wherein we are providing incentives to cruise tours also for all categories like luxury, budget and local ferry cruise. Even we are going to offer GST and capital incentive and other incentives to tour operators also. Second thing, we have 720 kilometers of coast, where as one of my informed that coastal and harbour tourism is a great potential for Maharashtra. Only we need to push it. So through policy we are giving capital incentives and all, but we also need some infrastructural facilities over there. And so that I would request the MOT to, like in Swades Darshan 2, we have challenge-based this thing. If we could include these port facilities, so that right from Mumbai to Goa or Gujarat to Goa, small cruise can be, tour cruise can be facilitated, and it has great potential. Another thing, just we were discussing with MP Tourism. Inland Waterways has a tripartite agreement between Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. We also have a portion of Sardar Sarovar in Maharashtra, in Nandurbar district, with rich tribal culture and one hill station, Toranmal, from where that backwater starts, and it has good depth. We just need a basic facilities. State government is also ready to support in all ways. If you could include us, that is my request. And sir, another that again harbour tourism, we are the only state where we have seaforts of Shivaji Maharaj, like Murud Janjira and Padma Durga. I saw that list in your list. So if you could expedite that, that would again boost the coastal and harbour tourism. And if you we have a specific Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj tour circuit. Customized. If you could develop harbour this thing, so that will be this thing. We can have their luxury budget and local ferry cruise. Second, sir, perennial levels like Godavari and Narmada, where water depth is available throughout the year. There also we can start with minor infrastructure development. All kinds of cruise. Then water, we have major dams in Maharashtra, 46 major dams, and beautiful dams in Konkan area, abutting the Sahyadri, this thing. That can be used for the tourism purpose. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patel. Now, what about Goa? Any suggestions? Because Goa is another one of the major tourist destinations.
Most of the points have been covered in the DG ma'am's presentation. I saw that Namagaon Port, etc. The only thing which I would like to add is that we are also coming with a cruise tourism policy very soon.
Right.
And I think it will take care of many things. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
From Kerala.
Why is it getting dark? Can we have the lights on, please? Anyway, yes, please. Let's not wait for the light.
Myself Vishnu, I am the Additional Director General Tourism, Government of Kerala. We'll start with the first point you mentioning about the data on houseboats. So, Kerala Maritime Board is implementing Kerala Inland Vessel Rules. Total 6 port of registries are there, under which nearly 1,000 houseboats are already been registered, and the registration is going on. So there was also an effort to, there were instances when some houseboats may charge more, like very high amounts from tourists. So there was an effort to standardize the cost of houseboats. But as my colleagues rightly mentioned, when it is brought to an open market like booking platforms and all, there will be automatically a standardization happening in that aspect. And there was one mention about Tannir Mukam Bund. As of now, it is opened. It will be closed during winter season just to prevent the saline water entering into the paddy fields. Currently, it is open. Regarding water hyacinths, even NGT also taken note of this issue and asked the government of Kerala to explore the possibilities of utilizing this water hyacinths as a source of value-added products. In fact, Environment Department is encouraging Kudumbashree and self-help groups to work on it to develop a circular economy which convert weed into wealth. So they can, especially when these water hyacinths are high quality mulching material, and it can be utilized as a source of value-added products. And regarding coastal cruise tourism policy, Government of Kerala has already prepared a draft coastal cruise tourism policy, and it is under the consideration of government, will be finalized soon. Linking this coastal cruise tourism to the inland water tourism, Cochin Water Metro, which is a perfect example of multimodal connectivity, which can be acted as a linkage to the inland water tourism. That these are the suggestions, these are the response from the.
Thank you. In fact, we were there just about last week. We had a meeting with the stakeholders in Cochin. We also took a ride in the Cochin Metro, and we are having a meeting with the Cochin Metro people. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes.
We have actually spoken about it, and India on Water will be a separate section on trips in Incredible India portal. Also in experiences, we will be building a whole lot of experiences, and I actually invite all of you. We will take the contact details from the Inland Waterways Authority of India, and we will reach out to you to document your experiences so that we can populate them on the website. The new Incredible India portal will be released very, very soon, and this will all be populated on that. We are actually already, we have some 1,200 experiences already populated, and India on Water will be something which we will be really looking forward to. Yes. Then you said that revitalize the domestic market. We would be happy to work with domestic tour operators, visit these places, talk more about them. We have a meeting with our regional directors next week in Bengaluru, where we will be working out a complete program of actually promoting these lesser known products and some of these niche products in a much bigger way within the country. So we have already started doing interstate roadshows. Last year we had a group of tour operators from Tamil Nadu go to UP, and a group of tour operators from UP go to Tamil Nadu for mutual meetings, and they have identified a lot of common ground. This is something we have been continuously doing with all the states, and any states, any operators who would want to avail of this, we would be very happy to facilitate it with our regional offices. We also did a FAM trip for tour operators from all across the country. 50 tour operators, 10 from each region came to Kurukshetra and saw what all was possible there, because in the Golden Triangle, Delhi, Agra, Jaipur, everybody just visits these three places, but Kurukshetra is also coming up. So similarly, we can play up the cruise destinations also. The thing with tourism in India is that there is so much on offer that the offerings have to be really segmented, and the marketing also has to be segmented along with. GST, we have taken up that issue earlier also with the Ministry of Finance. Now I hope with the joint forces of Ministry of Shipping and Ministry of Tourism, hopefully we'll be able to make an impact. And the point on registration on of river cruise operators is well taken. We will create a separate section on Nidhi. We will definitely start working on it. And Mr. Basu, I will look forward to your advice on that matter. We will definitely take it forward. Right. If there's any other question on with the OTAs also, we are already integrating major OTAs on the Incredible India portal. We are also integrating major tour operators who are registered with us on Nidhi with the Incredible India portal. That API integration is in progress. If any of you are registered as a tour operator already, we would be happy to go ahead with that process. Please get in touch with me on a personal basis for that. And if there's any other question, I would be very happy to answer it.
And just one more point.
Right.
A lot of our rivers are actually passing along national parks. And one of the major disadvantages on a worldwide natural district cruising format is that we cannot access the national parks from the river front. And a lot of those national parks actually have very convenient boarding, reboarding locations which are not activated. This is something that needs to be taken up with MOEF and CC.
Definitely.
If they can give that leeway and we don't have to at 3:30 in the morning drive people for 1.5 hours to get to the inland gate of the national park, but can actually just reboard straight.
I think this barrier has been broken already in Karnataka. They do have a river-based access to one of their, in Kabini, it has already been done. So I am sure we can look at that model and we can talk to the Ministry of Environment and Forest. On that subject, we have actually in the last 6 months trained nature guides in Ramsar wetlands. And I am aware of that regulation on non-motorized transport, because we have also trained boatmen as birding guides. We can discuss that about wetlands with the Ministry of Environment and Forest, and we can come out with a solution. But ultimately, if there's an NGT order, unless somebody challenges it, we really can't do anything about it. I would also say that, with Sagarmala Corporation, Ministry of Tourism is already working on a few niche projects. So in the northeast, in Mizoram, we are working on one of the proposed inland waterways, sir, to create a water sports and inland navigation project. Because in hill areas, it is very difficult to travel by road, but by river, those distances are much, much lesser. So that program is in conceptualization stage and Mizoram government is very keen to do it. We will probably take it up under the challenge-based destination development scheme under Swadesh Darshan 2.0. Similarly, we are working on a project in Tehri Lake, which will be essentially a transport thing for all the destinations on the rim of Tehri Lake, because otherwise the road connectivity is very long, very tedious, and this will make it much faster. Similarly, in Goa also, Sagarmala Corporation has worked on a project to have, for the beaches, you have to, from north to south, you have to take a road and cross the Zuari Bridge or Mandavi Bridge. But this will be a ferry project from north to south, and I'm sure Goa government is working on it, and it will probably be fructifying very soon. With Sagarmala again, we are working on something in Andaman and Nicobar Islands where we can have a hop-on, hop-off boat service between more islands which can be opened. But it is in very, very initial stage, so I'll be able to share more details a little later. So Sagarmala Corporation and we together are working on these ideas, and already whatever projects are there, we'll be happy to showcase them in our marketing and promotion activities. IRCTC regularly partners with us. So if you're partnering with IRCTC or you're coming through the OTAs, we would be happy to be a part of your promotion activities as well there. Thank you. Yes, please.
I think Mr. Basu and Mr. Raj will vouch for the fact that as the cruising industry, we've been fighting for the reduction in GST for a pretty long time. I think every time it's been shot down by the Ministry of Finance for the simple reason that they consider it to be an elitist activity. So I think the whole point here is that today cruising is no longer singularly elitist. The common man is also cruising one hell of a lot, and I think the performance of Cornelia Cruises proves that.
I completely agree with you. We also get disheartened when those proposals are shot down. With you, we'll work on it again and hopefully win this time. We'll build an argument. I'll sit with you separately and work an argument around it. Let's hope it will be bought this time.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Any other state government would like to speak up? Some who may have joined online. We'll come to the central government now, sir.
This was a big learning experience.
So
I have to take leave, but this was a huge learning experience, and I hope to interact with all of you once again very soon. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We've already overshot our time. So all the comments from the private cruise operators we have noted down. In fact, we have taken them in advance with us. So we will work on them. We will get back to you on each one of the points which have been made here. Somebody mentioned before the meeting started that he doesn't normally come to the meeting because they are talking shops. This is not a talking shop. We will come back to you on each of the points which have been made here with concrete action. Wherever we can act, we will act. Wherever we need others to act, we will involve them. That's one. On the points made by my colleagues from state governments, wherever you require assistance from us, technical or financial, please write to us. In any case, we are going around all the states. I will be going to Vijayawada shortly in the next week or so. On our national waterways, we can provide financial and technical both assistance, but in general, we are mandated to provide technical assistance on all the waterway related activities. So we are there to support you in all the endeavors. So with this, we will conclude because we have got another meeting happening in my office, and all of you are requested to join us for a cup of tea. Thank you so much for a very, very, I would say, and participative and enthusiastic conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.